A word which means the opposite of something that works in parallel. If I want to describe two things happening at the same time, I can use the words parallel or concurrently. In some cases, simultaneously would also work. More suggestions are available in the opposite question, already answered. In technical writing, most of the time, it is sufficient to identify a process or thread that is parallel. A lack of parallelism is assumed in absence of specificity. But in some cases, the ordinary expectation for something is parallel, so the reverse requires denotation. The word sequentially implies some of the same things as concurrently. But I'd really like a word that denotes the opposite and can be used in the same way as concurrently. Here's a few examples. That procedure runs concurrently, so the system doesn't wait for it to finish before moving on. That procedure runs ? So the system waits for it to finish before moving on. The math library does all of its processing concurrently, so matrix multiplication is faster on a multi-core machine. The math library does all of its processing ? So it doesn't matter how many cores you have. The backup runs concurrently with the import, so the system doesn't experience any downtime. The backup runs ? with the import, so the system will be down until it completes. The audience can assume to be reasonably technical, though not necessarily domain experts in multi-threaded programming. Bonus points if the word is also useful as a part of function names while programming. This question is very well straddling the line between here and Stack Overflow, but it's more about English than programming, I think. So, does the word I want exist?
The word used in the field of computing and information science is serially. In the analysis of algorithms, a fundamental principle is that the parallelization of an algorithm cannot reduce the required time below the serial component of the calculation, even with an infinity of available processors, memory, etc.
I believe you're looking for sequentially. Of, relating to, or arranged in a sequence, serial, following in sequence, relating to or based on a method of testing a statistical hypothesis that involves examination of a sequence of samples for each of which the decision is made to accept or reject the hypothesis or to continue sampling. Edit. Thinking more on it, I'm not sure that they're opposites per se, but a process is either sequential or parallel. I would consider an opposite to be a direct opposition to whatever it's being compared to, like backwards or forwards. In this case, I think it's just one of two choices.
I don't think the word you want exists in common usage. I suspect that's because the image you're trying to conjure is, as you describe, not merely synchronously but synchronously when asynchronously is assumed. In other words, you're trying to capture the idea that, though the reader expects that this procedure can be executed in parallel, it in fact cannot, and blocks program execution until it is done. That blockingness is essential to what you want to communicate, and I suspect that because it is fairly new to expect things to be done in parallel, there's no good common word available. The word sequential is used as an antonym for both concurrent and parallel. When these are explicitly distinguished, concurrent/sequential and parallel/serial are used as opposing pairs. Patterson and Hennessy 2013, p. 503.
Could you not use the word discordantly if you do not want to connote the sequentiality of sequential or serial? Discordant. Not agreeing, not in harmony, at variance.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.